All right, welcome back, Silverstone National. If you have been on this track before, this configuration, you'll know what it's about. If you are new to it and you've looked at the track map, looks pretty simple. Couple corners, couple straightaways, very easy. It is a little trickier though than it looks. There are two corners that are very touchy, and that does make it for a bit of a challenge. Setup for the Ray is never a huge deal. You'll gain a little time if you've got a custom setup, but the iRacing setup is usually pretty good as long as you're driving well. But on this track, however, the setup also is helping keep the car from spinning out. As I said, a couple of corners here very tricky, and setup actually I find makes a big difference in keeping the car facing the right way. So we'll go through the setup here. Minus 17 in the front. It's about as low as it goes. There's not very many bumps on this track to go over that are going to disrupt the car. Damper compression is 20. My old track guide had it at 22. My old track guide was when the Formula Ford was pretty new. There's been some updates obviously to the car and to iRacing and probably the track, and I just found it was not as good. So yeah, 20 for damper compression, rebound 0, brake bias 57.5%. So I did turn down that damper compression and I did increase the brake bias. That just helped keep the car from locking up. Brake bias is an individual thing, but you may want it a little bit on the higher side for this track. As I said, those tricky corners, it is easy to lock up. So you may want to have that a little higher than usual. Spring rates in the front, soft as they go. And if you're new to the channel, I mess around with the cambers. And if you are subscriber already, you know the deal. I do have the left side turned up 1.4 on the left, right side is 1.1. If you want to have those symmetrical, go with the higher value 1.4. And toe in is turned up a bit as well. You need a lot of turn in there. These corners, you need a lot of turn in on this track. It is very easy to understeer and wash out. You need a sharp front end. So 1.4 for the toe. In the rear, now this is a little trickier than usual. The rear is one notch up from the softest, so 44 Newton meters. You can go with the softest spring rate. It will keep the back end more planted. However, you do need to rotate the car here. There is surprisingly a lot of understeer here, and this helps rotate the car. And it's not really too difficult. Do some laps with it. Get the tires warmed up before you judge whether or not you want to go with the 44 or with the softest setting. The 44 is going to get you around the track a little quicker. It's not a huge difference, but it is a little quicker, I found, than having the rear at the softest level. Camber in the rear, just like the front, 1.4 on the left, 1.1 on the right. The left-hand tires are doing most of the work, so the camber's turned up there. And go with the higher value if you want to keep them symmetrical. And toe in is 0.3. Yeah, it's a lot of straightaways, not a lot of heavy braking here, so the toe is not cranked up all that much. And ride height is just 1 mil higher in the rear than in the front. ARB is 15. Now, if you're new to the Ray, that might sound a little high, but again, this is a tricky track. I did try 10 mils on the ARB, and I found you on these two tricky corners we'll go over, there's really a lot of snap oversteer with 10 mils. I actually found 15 mils. The back end was much easier to control, which is usually not what you think about having the ARB higher, but the back end slides more consistently at 15 mils. 10, you're getting a little bit of sliding and then it just completely lets go. So ARB, really try that at 15. I did find it significantly more stable. So yeah, that's a little perk. Damper compression 6 and 18, 13 liters should get you to the end. If you are heavy on fuel usage, though, you may want to have 14. Gear stack is standard. Short stack is nice through this track, but you will get eaten up on the straights, and tall is probably just overdoing it. You're never going to even get close to the rev limit with tall. So yeah, standard stack. So track conditions. Now there's a caveat to this. This is not my best lap. I forgot to save the session where I did set my best lap. Basically, the difference was the best session track usage was lower. It was 35% or something, so it was a little bit faster. This session was 56%, so little greasier on the track. And it's a 101.5, I think, 101.15. I did my optimum is a 1 minute into the 1 minutes. Definitely, if the track is grippier, you'll be able to get lower than a 101. The very good drivers will anyway. So we'll go into the corners in slow-mo like usual and then run it out at full speed. So coming into turn 1 here, looking at the 100 board in 4th gear, obviously just past the 100 board, gonna dab the brakes a bit of brakes, especially cold tires. You got to watch out, you will slide wide here. And then this is a lot of understeer through here, so you got to get that car turned in. And these sausage curbs that aren't really sausage curbs, you can get on these, keep a tire on the track, but cut this corner as much as possible. It's really going to get you through this faster and keep you from getting an X on exit. So yeah, just watch out. Full throttle here. It's important to pick up the throttle nice and early. You can come in there hotter, but if you come in hotter and are late on the throttle, you are going to lose a lot of time. Keep your right hand tire on the inside of the track. You can get over, you can run wide here. If you came in a little too hot, you will get an X. If you came in really too hot, if you went really wide, if you had contact with a car and you go really wide, there is a slowdown, but you have to really be wide here to get that slowdown, and it is painful, so avoid that, and just watch on your quality laps, especially. If you cross that line, you get an X in a race. Not such a big deal. Work your way over to the right. You can get over a little bit more to the right if you want. This corner isn't very much of a corner. I don't even know if this is considered a corner. In 4th gear, looking for the bend in the track. Getting onto the brakes, shifting down into 2nd gear. Hard on the brakes. Now, you can carry a lot more speed into this corner, but you are going to sacrifice a lot of exit speed, and it's a big straight coming up, and braking early and getting on the throttle early is much faster. So 2nd gear, and this is one of those tricky corners. It is very easy to lose it here. If you are hard on the brakes and turn the wheel, you are going to spin out. So you have to be trail braking here. You have to be releasing the brakes as you turn in, and then picking up the throttle nice and early before the apex. Get onto the curb here, cut the corner as much as possible, and full throttle well before the apex. If you get on the throttle late, if you came in hotter, you're going to lose a lot of time on exit. And boy, that sun is shining. You can get your left-hand wheel over the curb here. Do you want to go that far wide? I don't know. I don't think so. But you want to be up against this curb. But if you cross over the white line here, you do get an X. It's not a slowdown. It's an X. It will cost you a little time for sure, but not too penalizing. And then just working up the gears, just unwinding the wheel, trying to minimize the wheel input here, straight lining it as much as possible so you don't scrub any speed. So coming up to the next one in fourth gear again, obviously. Going to be a lot of passing tried here for sure. So just before the 50 board, like a car length before the 50 board, again, you can come in here hotter, but you are going to carry too much speed and sacrifice it on exit. So braking down into second gear, slowly, shift down into third, and then shift down into second. Try and roll in a little bit of speed here, getting off the brakes nice and early and picking up the throttle nice and early. This isn't a straightaway coming up, but you can carry a lot more speed, have the throttle on here than if you were braking hard and braking late and then trying to pick it up afterwards. Again, cut this corner, keep a tire on track. These orange curb things don't disrupt the car really. You can go over them. Don't cut that corner too much. It is an X in there. It will wreck your quali lap. And then just unwinding the wheel. And I have found with the Ray, keeping a tight line here is really the fastest way through. If you come out wide over to the left and then try to cut in, yes, you will gain some speed in the straightaway, but you will not gain back what you lost running wide. Keeping it on the curbs here, I should have kept it on the curbs. I find it faster to keep it on the curb, your right hand tire. I came out here just a little further out than I wanted. Again, the track was a little greasier than my fastest lap. And then just picking up the throttle nice and early, because this is another big stretch of full throttle, another big passing opportunity going into turn one, and then just unwinding the wheel, again minimizing the inputs just so you don't scrub any speed. You can use all of this green stuff on exit. You can cross the white line here, but if you touch the gravel, which you don't obviously want to do anyway, but if you touch the gravel, you do get an X. So not ideal for your quali lap, but not such a big deal in a race. And just cut the corner here a little bit. No penalty, no X for that. And that's a 101.5 at that last corner. The finish line comes up on you fast. So in the race, the last lap, there's no overtaking down this straight. Once you take that corner, you are pretty much at the finish line. So we'll run this out at full speed. Good luck. We'll see you next time.